We request all the delegates and participants of this conference as well as the expo, please be seated. We are going to start this battery recycling session part 2. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome all the distinguished panelists of the dais and the participant of this conference session attending on the battery recycling, circularity, sustainability and green transition. Part B, discussion will be dwell upon the R&D and battery recycling industry. Without taking much time, I would request to call upon Dr. Praveen Kumar, Program Head, Sustainable Batteries, Sustainable Cities and Transport, WRI India, who is going to moderate this session. Dr. Praveen Kumar is a Program Head, Sustainable Batteries at WRI India under the Cities of Transport program. He has been previously worked with in the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and has received a PhD from JMI in New Delhi. He has been more than 17 years of post-PhD experience in the science, technology, and policy research. With this, we have also domain experts from this for these sessions. Mr. Devi Prasad Dash, who is the Executive Director of ISA, then the very veteran from the industry and Executive Directors, that's L. Pugzanti, Indian-led Zinc and Development Association, ILSA. Then we have got Dr. Jayashree Bishwas, Assistant Professor, IIT Mumbai. Mr. Vinay Sharmaji, Head India, Operations, GDB International INC. And Mr. Utkarsh Singh, CEO, Director, Batex Energies. Please give them a good round of applause. Welcome them. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time and joining us today. Over to Dr. Praveen Kumarji. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before we start, I would like to thank organizers for the invitation for this session. In this session, our focus will be on the research and innovation in battery circularity. And in the previous session, we have seen that how important is the research and innovation if we talk about making the battery circularity more efficient, cost-effective, and environmental sustainable. So in this session, we'll focus on the key aspects and how we can develop the research innovation ecosystem that is going to help in the accelerating the innovative solution integration in the battery circularity. So we have in this session Mr. Devi Prasad, Executive Director, President, ISA, Mr. Pog, from he's Executive Director, India-led Zinc Development Association. Dr. Jayashree Bishwas, Assistant Professor, IIT Bombay. Mr. Vinay Sharma, Head, Indian Operations, GDB International, and Director, MRI. And Mr. Utkarsh Singh, CEO and Director, Batex Energy Private Limited. So without wasting time, let's start on this. So why we are talking about the research and innovation? Research and innovation is very essential for the battery circularity because this is going to help us in increasing the cost effectiveness, safety and efficiency of the battery circularity. When I'm talking about battery circularity, that includes both reuse and recycling. And if we can take an example that what research and innovation can play in a role. So in the previous session, we have seen that LFP batteries are going, LFP, this is the lithium ion variant, is going to dominate the market. And the recycling of lithium iron phosphate with the current commercial technologies, recycling technologies, is not profitable. So is there any way the recycling of LFP can be converted into the profitable business? Yes. Some research suggests that if we can increase if we can push the direct recycling technology like direct recycling, that can help in improving the economic viability of the LFP recycling. Even currently the hydro and pyro technologies are used for the commercial recycling, and there is a huge opportunity for increasing the efficiency, reducing the cost and making them more environmental friendly. But how this can be done? So collaboration and partnerships are going to play a very critical role in this one. When we talk about the collaboration and partnership, here in the previous session, the experts, they mentioned that how the multiple stakeholders are involved in the whole ecosystem. And they need to work, discuss, and need to identify the opportunity for collaboration and partnership. If I can take an example, that we often talk about the collaboration between the academia and industry. Because academia, they have a good presence of R&D ecosystem, and they work on the innovative and the most disruptive technology solutions. But their innovation stops, or they go maximum up to the TRL 3 or 4. But industry requires a solution which are at the TRL 5, 6 and beyond, and they would like to take those technology to scale and commercialize. But the priority for both the stakeholders from academia and industry is different. So one of the things is there that how they communicate with each other. So in this session, we have the experts and we discuss on this aspect that how the research innovation is coming out as an excellent opportunity to solve the critical challenges, how these ideal scenarios can be converted into the action. So I will just request Mr. Devi Prasad, and he is working with the industry since long time, and in this battery space he has done a lot of interaction both on the academia and industry side. And while giving your opening remark, my question will be that what kind of strategies can industry adopt to strengthen the academia-industry collaboration and take a step forward to take the technology developed at the academic institution for the scale or the commercialization?
It's a great platform at IMRC. So as we see, battery manufacturing for advanced chemistries like lithium and others just started kicked off. It may be LFP, NMC or any advanced technologies like LTOs and others. So for these we need both virgin raw materials, which in exploration stage we don't know, and also recycled materials. The question is that what the recycling companies are getting the challenge. The challenge comes from the starting of collection. So they don't know actually it is a LFP or it is a NMC. So it comes from the identification. Yes, on the identification side there is a huge role of both industry association, industry and academia to identify the labeling. There is an ambitious plan is running in Europe for last 7+ years on battery passport. I still feel it is ambitious because when you want to do everything, you may not do anything. Considering current Korea battery fire issue, they just now did the 3 things mandatory in the labeling. Which type of technology, who is a maker, and what is the composition. So India need to find out the first type of design framework where the identification of batteries need to be done. That is the first step of requirement. Now come to the second space. On the collection mechanism, that is more on logistical side, but there is also academic support is required, the like identification of frameworks where the different e-commerce platform or maybe the EPR imposed through the centers like Chroma, Reliance and others have, that can be done, because currently which type of batteries are coming, specifically lithium ion is not from EVs. If you are thinking it is coming from EV, it's not coming from EV. It is majorly coming from power electronics, and secondly is now from telecom towers. Maybe after 5-6 years it will come from EV. So how to collect it efficiently and how to keep the safe transportation. No one talks about the safe transportation, because when you are collecting the batteries, at what stage of charge or SOC or depth of discharge it has, we don't discuss about it. So it may create a safety hazard during transportation, during storage or during discharge. That need to be taken care of. That is the second part of it. Third is regarding the recycling process. Yes, I personally feel Indian recyclers, maybe they all work with us, maybe that is the reason, they are far ahead than few of the countries. I'm not comparing here China, but maybe you can consider European countries or maybe USA. We are somehow better stage at currently. That's I agree with my earlier panelists like India may be a global hub in this space. So in that case, beyond hydrometallurgy or maybe pyrometallurgy, can you think about direct recycling and other things? Maybe at the lab scale, few of the labs who works with us we know, including IMMT from Bhubaneswar or NML from Western India. So these labs have some technology, but they have to think about futuristic technology, not what is available currently. So that may need to on the recycling process. And also second is on the purity level. Because the purity level, what the critical materials from a lithium batteries, maybe copper, cobalt and lithium, these three I feel are the critical at current point of time. Need to have a high purity level in the battery grade first time. And it is not only about the recycling process, it's also about the batteries which is going as a manufacturing waste. Now, as we see, there are 10 to 15 gigafactories will come. They all have a manufacturing waste. It is maybe Tata Agratas or maybe Exide, Amar Raza, Ola and others. So how that can also be recycled. And second gap where we feel again another collaboration required is about before using it is second life. We might heard or we might see some of the batteries used in the first life in an electric vehicle is going for the low power application. It may be home inverter or it may be e-rickshaws and others. Now it is very dangerous. There is no testing is happening, how much power is left, is the battery safe to use or not. So we work with BIS but suggest the industry and academic need to create a framework so that the testing procedures need to be followed before it is going as a mandate in the second life. Second life was not financially feasible maybe 5-10 years back when the price was falling down of the batteries from a 11,000 USD, 1100 USD to now around 60 to $70 per kilowatt hour. But now I feel the prices will be stabilized, so the appropriate testing procedure need to be developed. It is again a requirement from the national labs and center of excellences from the institutions and academic. So all these need to be go in parallel considering industry inputs. With all due respect to the center of excellences and institutions, actually their research, like just giving one example, don't we? ISRO floated a lithium-ion technologies for the licensing 7 years back. 10 companies applied and they got it. But I personally feel none of them is going for a gigafactories. So such development is robust. India doesn't need it. So if you are keeping a futuristic development in recycling, industry is willing to take it. But if you are doing something then which is may not be required for the current new age tech companies, then it is may not be, this is industry will not pick up. So considering the examples of ISRO's lithium-ion technology for a gigafactory, we all need to learn from that and take the next step.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Devi. Coming to you, Dr. Viswas. The importance of collaboration and partnership is very clear, and especially the academia-industry collaboration is very critical to drive the research and innovation. But if we just see what is the major challenge? So one is the communication gap between academia and industry, and mainly due to the misaligned focus for both the partners, you can say, in this, and that is resulting into this main bunch of stakeholders are working in silos. If we see the academic institution, even the labs who was having a mandate to do the industrial research, they are only going up to the TRL 4, 5, 6, and then after that, the technology development is hitting the wall. How this can be addressed? Means how this ice one can break so that this growing industry can get in a strong support from the academia or research organization to implement the research and the high disruptive solution into the market.
Yes. So, thank you first of all, MRAI, like for inviting not only IIT Bombay, all the IITs actually. There are some couple of stalls you can see. Many IITs are doing research already in the recycling side. Yes, there are like there is a like a big gap. It is not only in this recycling sector, I would say. It's kind of most of the sector. If you go and talk to the faculties, and you will realize that there is a gap. But yeah, so this recycling is kind of slowly growing industry. It's like after seeing this like couple of events, at least from MRAI, I could also realize that in India, this segment is going to be very big, and we need to be prepared for that in terms of technologies as well as in terms of human resource, like skilled workforce. To do that, like this research side from IITs, we try to do like write some proposal, send it to some ministries and do some research on our own. But there requires some sort of communication. So maybe some once in a 6 months, or maybe some close communications with some specific problems with some specific companies. A few months back, we organized an event at IIT Bombay specifically focusing on battery reuse, repurpose and recycling, and we had experts from other different companies, and they came and discussed about their issues. There were big companies like Loham, Exigo, these companies, as well as very small players. So who kind of came up with, okay ma'am, this is the problem. So some small players also, like let's say electrolyte recovery. So some of the problems like we still are not thinking. So maybe we need to identify problems. And actually at IIT Bombay, IIT Bombay and all the IITs, each student has to, like the master students has to do some thesis projects. So maybe some of the projects can be aligned with some industry, and there can be some supervisor there can be some supervisor here. And they can spend some time in the industry so that they also get to familiar with these industries and the kind of struggles they are having, that way probably one option could be having some projects together and trying to solve some problems. Apart from that, also I would mention there is there is in these IITs, these young minds, they are very curious to know, like in this recycling industry, what's going on, and to get involved as in terms of startup. But many of the times I see that like second year student, third year student, they are kind of lost and just comes and tells that this is what we want to do. But many times mentoring is also missing. So maybe if we can send some of these students, spend some time there, so they can then come back and maybe identify some problem, work there at IIT Bombay, in these academic institutions, build their own solutions, and maybe upscale, expand that into industrial scale. So some sort of those kind of collaboration probably be needed. Some sort of centers, like here at IIT Bombay, we have steel centers. So where different steel companies comes with their problems, and we do keep on the respective experts are kind of working on those specific problems. Similar like that for batteries or these critical minerals, we can have centers for that, support with the support from ministries, and respected faculties can work on those specific problems which are identified by the industries. So like LFP and also the emerging chemistries which are coming, we need to be prepared for that, like lithium sulfur batteries, sodium ion batteries. Although sodium ion batteries can't replace completely lithium ion, that's what I understand from my colleagues who are working on battery chemistries. So, but yeah, we need to be prepared, and work extensively in close collaboration through some projects only. I would say that would be from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Biswas. Now coming to you, Utkarsh. So now you have heard both Mr. Devi, Utkarsh. Yes. So Mr. Devi and Dr. Biswas. And you know, and the general understanding is there that the industry always prioritize the short-term benefit, where the focus of academic and research institution will be for the long-term and the new technology. So this is the big challenge that comes out in breaking the ice and making academia industry collaboration more realistic. So what kind of solution you think, like one, as Dr. Viswas mentioned, ki, exchange of experts from industry to academia, academia to industry, that can help in building better understanding about the each other's requirement and better communication. But what else you think can help in making this academic industry collaboration basically working in tandem to help grow this industry and contributing into the safe and sustainable ecosystem?
Okay, thank you first of all for inviting me to this conference. I would like to start by saying and identifying the problem statement here that is in between the industry and the academia. Basically, in any kind of particular business, academia is always 20 years ahead of the industry in terms of research and development, right? And we need to accept that in India, for this particular space, that is lithium ion technology as a whole, whether it is on the cell manufacturing and fabrication side or on the recycling side, we have missed the bus in terms of academia and industry working together. And this is a similar case which is also there with US and also with the Europe. So here, now today, we need to learn from the example of the people who have already proven this particular concept. And I would like to share it with you. So we have been to China a couple of times, and there, next to all big industries, there is always a nearby university where the research is happening. And research in China does not only mean research in the academia, but also it is the responsibility of the professor of the implementation of the research and scaling it up on the commercial scale. Here, if you will ask to the industries, how many professors have actually visited your factories? First of all, the industry people don't invite them because they are scared that whatever we have built will be stolen by the academicians. That is the biggest threat, you know, that Indians feel. Secondly, even the professors are only restricted to writing research papers and at max to going to the patent level. So government here has to play a role of mediator, which I think recently the Research Anusandhan the scheme has been launched. And I think it will be a great motivation for both industry as well as academia to collaborate together and develop some meaningful technologies that the academician has to be equally responsible for scaling. Academician job shall not end only till the research, right? And industry should also have to come a way forward in sharing the revenues or in sharing the money with the academicians. That is where they will also be motivated. So that is the very first fundamental that we need to get right. Now, with the help of this stage, I would also want to put it out that government also needs to establish a fund of at least 10,000 crores for the research and development, integration of research and development with the industries and enabling the industries for using the research. Because today the problem is academicians have developed certain technology. You will be shocked. Everybody knows a lot of technology is already there in IIT Delhi, you know, IIT Mumbai and everywhere. But it has never seen the, you know, sunlight because we work with various other IIT institutes. Now the second part that I would like to focus, which is primarily on the battery recycling bit of it. Today, the batteries in India are made for performance. They are not made for recycling. That is again the second fundamental which the manufacturers have to change their mindset. They have to also ensure that the design that they are doing for the battery should also be enabled for recycling, right? They are using materials which cannot be recycled, right? So that is the first thing which I will also request the policy makers to incorporate on the manufacturer side. If there is a license for the recycler, there should also be a license for the manufacturer, and it should be mandatory for the manufacturer to tie up with the recycler before starting and setting up their industry. Right? Then only they will start on the right path. Today what happens is a manufacturer has done, has set up a 1 gigawatt hour of facility. He has no idea what he will do once the batteries will come back. Whenever there will be certain mandate from different organizations, they will start running, and then the localization of EPR and localization of different, trades will start, which I think is starting on the wrong foot. So I personally believe that it should be mandatory for the manufacturer to tie up with the recycler while setting up the industry. So that's a little bit, my 2 cents on this particular thought. Thank you.
Thanks, Utkarsh. So now I'm coming to Mr. Pog. Now you have heard all three, and they've given a different perspective from their side. And one of the important thing what Utkarsh has highlighted from the industry side, that one kind of stakeholders who are manufacturing the battery, they have the short-term profitability in their mind. They are designing the battery for now to get the profit, and the long-term benefit of designing the battery for keeping the circularity or reuse or recycling in mind, it requires a collaboration among the different industry players itself. So there are also communication. So till now we were discussing about the academia industry, and now this is one coming between like one type of industry versus another, recycling versus manufacturing or the reuse players. And you've seen this industry and you have a vast experience watching this, and you know the importance of this, how this can be addressed. Like one of the example will be like even the research innovation in manufacturing. Currently the manufacturing generates around 20 to 30% of the production is scrap. But if they adopt the innovative technology, AI-based solutions, so they can reduce the waste significantly. So basically adding to the resource efficiency. So how this partnership and collaboration, whether it's an academia industry or the battery manufacturer to recycler, reuse, how these complex issues can be addressed? What steps, actionable suggestion for this?
Thank you, Dr. Parveen, and thank you, MRA, for the opportunity to my organization, ILSDA. We have been talking about lack of communication between the industry, academy, industry, etc. I'm going to confine my remarks to lead batteries, not talking about lithium batteries right now. And as in the previous session, you heard Mr. Rao saying that lead battery recycling is a very old game in the country. Last 60, 70 years we have been practicing this, and it's just so common in this country. And today India is one of the biggest lead battery recycling country in the world. We consume about 1.5 million tons of lead in this country, 15 lakh tons of lead, of which about 80% is all going to the lead battery sector only. And fortunately, ILSDA is a very old body, 62, 63 years old body. And all the lead battery manufacturers, the big names and the mid-scale battery manufacturers, recyclers, lead recyclers, manufacturers of alloys, lead alloys and lead oxide, etc. They are all my members. And fortunately, whenever we organize a program, an international conference or a regional workshop, we always ensure that not only my members, not only my industry guys, but also scientists from Central Electrochemical Research Institute who are doing plenty of work in electrochemistry and battery-related research, and also National Metallurgical Lab, and we also invite local engineering colleges, local pollution control boards, and we invite students free of registration fees. We want students also to come. So we like to play a very proactive role in bridging a gap, closing the gap and bringing everyone to our forum. Devi Prasad has been coming to my program regularly, and Mr. Yadav, who was there in the earlier session, being a director in CPCB, he comes to my conferences and interacts with the industry on a one-to-one basis. So we are trying to do whatever best can be done for the lead battery industry. And also, let me also tell you this, I bring speakers from International Lead Association, International Zinc Association, International Lead Zinc Study Group, and many key experts from Europe, US, Japan, Australia, etc. to our conferences so that the Indian industry is exposed to the latest technology, battery manufacture, lead recycling. We're talking about collection, etc. We need to do plenty of work. In the earlier battery management handling rules, there was a mention about anybody can set up a collection mechanism. Collecting the battery is the key issue, safe collection. And unfortunately, we didn't have any collection mechanism coming up there. But I hope in the current BWMR, we will see some new young entrepreneurs coming forward. Collection is the biggest bottleneck. And once it is collected, it can be sent only to registered, authorized recyclers. Thereby, gradually, we will bring down the informal sector. So, in a sense, I want to confine my remarks. Maybe you'll have more questions later. So, we are trying to bring everybody on a common platform so that we are able to address the issues, latest technology induction, latest environmental regulation implementation, and phasing out or eliminating the informal lead recycling in our country. I would like to confine here, and if you have any more questions later, I will elaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pog. And now I'm coming to Mr. Vinay. Now you've heard about the academia industry, then industry, and the one of the important aspect Mr. Pog has highlighted about the collection and mainly the reverse logistic aspects. In the previous session, we saw the discussion around labeling the battery and tracing the battery packs. But as far as the lithium battery is concerned, there is another aspect about the technical data. The collection and sharing of the technical data, which is going to make the reuse and recycling more efficient, more safe, and more cost effective. So on your comment on how the collaboration can help addressing the key challenge and even the reverse logistic or the data collection and management, not only the asset, but also the technical side.
Thank you. Hello. Yeah, thank you. So I would like to put my thought in two parts. So as a producer, we have a lead unit. We produce recycled lead, and we are the suppliers from US as well. So what we have seen, see, enough things has been like, traceability, the code sharing, the battery Aadhaar, the battery passport. It's a lot of been term we have been seen in BWMR, the battery waste management rule. But the real problem is because a lot of technical things have already been said. So I don't want to take much of the time. First thing as from the domestically, what I would say is that everybody has to be socially responsible. If we are socially responsible, that okay, we will not sell our battery to an unregistered vendor. We will not sell our battery to a person who is not responsibly or technically equipped to handle the battery. Because battery is a very sensitive, this is all lead battery I'm talking about. So other than that, then comes the battery Aadhaar, the code sharing, the traceability and everything. But as a car owner or as a citizen, as a concerned person, it is my social responsibility that I should give to a person who can actually recycle in a proper way. So this is, I can say that domestically. Then the GST, the reduction of the GST. RCM is already in place. But is it enough to incentivize the user to actually collect and send? That is okay. Enough nicely packed battery, nicely shrink wrap, and you are sending this. Everything comes in a secondary part. if we don't have an economics to actually collect and send it to a factory, then nobody's gonna do it. So government has to come some incentive scheme that, to the producers of the battery, which actually can incentivize the, the lowest data, like in urban mining. The term is called urban mining. We have to actually go, the GST starts from there only, because lot of complications from GST, because we buy batteries from the domestic market and we are very scared. We don't want to buy from an registered vendor. We go buy from MSTC. We just don't want to buy from because there are a lot of complications are there. Second part, as a international responsible supplier of, the way we handle in America, the way we do things, the way we follow the EPA policies. EPA from the government is not very, very quick. The government departments are not replying on time. If those EPAs are in place, we're gonna get batteries in a very proper manner, because pollution doesn't know any boundaries. Pollution, if the pollution there in India, the pollution there in America, the pollution doesn't know the boundary. So urban mining should be encouraged, and apart from traceability, code sharing, battery traceability, that will come later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay. So we should give the chance to audience also to ask the question. But before we go to audience, we have three main stakeholders now: academician or researchers, government, and industry. I'll start from Mr. Debi, and three brief recommendations for these three to have the very vibrant research innovation ecosystem in India, which supports the industry in the fast-tracking the growth and adopting the best practice that helps people, nature, and climate.
So, interesting question. So the first thing, actually the academicians or institutes now not lack of funding. Good fundings are available. So there should be a monitoring of funding, like that business case when it may be ANRF, it may be DST programs. Whenever a funding is going to any institutions, that need to be linked with a industry business case. Somehow it is started, but the funding, if it is a funding of 10 crore, it need to be given phase-wise when the industry accepts the challenges which has been solved by the institution. That's the first thing. And it happens by DOE funding or maybe from or others. It is not happening in India. The institutions get a letter from an industry at start date, then they forget about the industry. That's the first. Second recommendation, when institutions work on a solution, don't leave at TRL level 3 or 4. No one will help you. Take it to TRL level 7 to 9, or if it is very helpful, go to the MRL level, market readiness level. That is second. In addition, a second recommendation, most of the Indian professors, the ultimate aim is to create a startup in their institution and have a hold of it. Don't do that. That's not sustainable. That's the second recommendation. The third recommendation to the government, create some funds for the R&D labs of the private companies. It happens across the globe. Here, when you think about R&D department of a private companies, it may be large companies like Exide, Amar Raza, maybe small like Batex. Government should fund them. They also have an excellent research background, guys. So funding should not be limited to the academic institutions or national labs. We need a holistic, wherever good guys, that need to be supported. These are the three expected things from the academic institutions, governments, and industries.
Thank you, Mr. Devi. Mr. Pog, your three recommendations: academics, industry, and government.
First and foremost, I would like to talk about, for a very long time, we have been talking about leakage of batteries going to the informal sector. It is time we try to address this issue very seriously. My suggestion to the industry would be the big battery manufacturers, lead battery manufacturers, they can join together and form one common outfit, a common company, purely for the purpose of collecting batteries at different places in the country, regionally, small towns, district headquarters, etc. If we do that, probably the leakage of batteries from the dealers to the informal sector can come down. Therefore, industry has to take a lead. We have been telling our industry members, if not individually, through your dealer network, try to form a common all India body so that you are able to collect and minimize your leakage. That's the industry suggestion I wanted to convey. Point number 2, for the government, Yadavji knows for a long time, I've been telling him, the latest battery waste management rules talks about everybody. Manufacturer, producer, recycler, reconditioner, importer, consumer, public bodies like municipal corporation, etc. But one missing thing in this BWMR is the role of dealers. They remain unaccounted today. They are not answerable. They can collect your old battery, and for a little bit of cash, they can give to anybody, a middleman or a trader or an informal sector. Therefore, this dealer, by whatever means, either as an amendment to BWMR or a separate notification, dealers, battery dealers in this country should be made accountable and responsible. It cannot go here and there. Either they give back the collected batteries to the original battery manufacturer or give it to the nearby authorized registered recycler, or they ensure that it is not going to the wrong hand. That is the government thing. And finally, association, MRI is doing a wonderful job, bringing so many delegates from India and from other countries. ILSDA also does that. So we are trying to be more active. And if there are any suggestions from the floor or the industry, we'll be willing to take those suggestions. Because we may be doing things in a routine, repetitive way, but if there are any observations, suggestions from the industry, we are more than willing to take them forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Biswas, your brief suggestions. And
Yeah,
we
so,
are running out of the time, so please.
Yeah, so I'll just keep it very short. So, yeah, as you mentioned that, limiting it, the technologies within the IITs. So, actually, there are many startups, like we have incubators within the IITs, and many students are also, some professors also taking over, and over the time period, they are taking it outside. Sometimes we are having technologies and we are transferring it to some companies, like on sodium ion batteries, one of our colleague from our department developed some technologies, and it is giving, they are giving it to some companies to take it further. But yeah, there are limitations, I agree, and hopefully we can overcome that part. And in terms of industry, I would suggest, like, please come to let's just have some close discussions, and otherwise we will be kind of lost somewhere, like we'll be doing our own research, you will be doing your own research, so the path won't merge at a place. And yeah, and finally, thanks to MRI for bringing us together. So, and also we had some events previously where MRI actually brought us to many industries, to our campus. So that's kind of events has to be more and more, so that we get to know each other, get to know each other's problems. So that would be like my.
Thank you, Dr. Biswas. Mr. Vinay.
So I'll be very realistic. First point, reduction of GST. Reform in GST is a must. This is a very request from the government. Because considering we are, by 2030 will be 110 to 150 gigawatt per hour, just such an exponential growth we'll have. Second thing is recognition as an urban mining. The GST should start from the collector, not the liability should not be passed on. Third, logistically, like Mr. Pug said, lot of logistic issues are there. So acid-proof vehicles, acid-proof sheets should be placed while delivering this. And third is be responsible. Send your batteries to the responsible recyclers only. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay. Utkarsh, your 3 suggestions.
Yes, I'll keep it very brief because time is not left. So I think the fundamental word for the entire industry and all three stakeholders, that is policymakers, academia and industry, is collaboration. I think collaboration is something that is there, but we need to involve ourselves more in terms of discussion. I would also like to highlight that it is very, very important for the research institutes to also reach out to the industry and industry to reach out to the research institutes, because we have also tried it in the past, but sometimes, you know, the dynamics don't work out. So that is where I think if policymakers can make some kind of ecosystem, that will be really helpful. So that's it, yeah.
Thank you, Karsh. Do we have time for one or two questions? Or so one question we can take from audience if you have any question to our panelists. So I think there is no question. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining for this session, and I would like to thank my co-panelists for sharing their views and giving the very precise and focused suggestion to address this very complex problem, and this is there in the system for a long time. Let's hope that we'll be able to see some movement or some positive thing to address this challenge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Parveen ji, for making this a very wonderful, insightful, and very knowledgeable session for all of us, for the attending delegates. Definitely, as we have MRI, on behalf of the MRI, we are fully committed to bridging the gap between academics and industry. That's what the biggest concern was. The discussion was put a point raised by the Jayashree. Yeah, so we are fully committed and organizing industrial visits in support of the stakeholders as well as for the academics and then research point of view also. We are fully committed to do the research point of view. We will try to get the funding from the stakeholders so that it will be beneficial for the stakeholders in the times to come. Thank you so much again. I would request all the participants to give a big round of applause for the wonderful presentation as well as the insightful session conducted by the Dr. Parveen and all the domain experts for giving their valuable inputs. With this, we end this session, 12th IMRC Part 2 over here. And to do the honors, I would request Dr. Sri B.K. Soniji, Managing Directors, Eco Recycling, and the Board of Directors of MRI to do the honors to our domain experts. Yeah. Yeah. I would request B.K. Soniji to the honors, the most veteran from the lead and zinc industries, Sri Pugdanti sir. Everybody calls him the Pug sir. So he's also the past president of Indian Institute of Metals, and now he's the executive director of ILSA also. Yeah. Book, Pugdanti. Now next, okay sir. Okay. Now next is Vinay Sharma ji from that side. Yeah. Vinay Sharma ji from GDB International INC. Yeah. Professor Jayashree. Now requesting B.K. Soniji to do the honors to Utkarsh Singh, CEO and Director of Batex Energies Private Limited. And I also request the last and the most important role has played by Dr. Parveen ji. We request BK Soni ji to do the honors for the sir. Yeah. With this, we conclude the session. May I request all the domain experts to do the, oh, sorry, extremely sorry. Yeah. Mr. Devi Prasad, Executive Directors, AISA. Yeah. May I request all the domain experts to please stand up for the group photograph. At the same time, I am requesting Vijay Prakash Yadav ji, please be on the dais too. We also require take your blessings along with us. Yeah.